Yeah, sure, of course. Yeah, I got a list of your some of your questions here. This is good to work with, and we should be able to create some content here for you.
Fantastic. So just wanted to start out and tell our viewers a little bit about your background and how you got started in knives. I know that you have your shop over there. You're also manufacturing. So why don't you tell us how all that came about?
So it originally started with just a shop, like the brick and mortar storefront, which I've ran, I guess, about 16 years now,
Oh,
and so
wow.
I've been pretty involved in the knife community long before manufacturing, and I've done a number of trade shows, both attending just as a buyer and a vendor. So I guess my position in the community has been pretty well rounded for a while. So getting started with the knife shop, where are we at here? About 2008, there was a very small cutlery shop downtown Carmel, California, owned by a retiring, elder couple that, were pretty into knives, and they were shutting down the shop. So I, threw in an offer to purchase the product and kind of just turnkey the business, and
So you did.
tried to, wanted to, it was not how many knife shops are really out there anymore. It's not a very prevalent, thing.
Especially in California.
Yeah, no doubt. As a rare breed. So turnkeyd the shop in a horrible economy, took a big risk at 22 years old.
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah, just gave that an honest shot, and it's been, fruitful. So but that led, slowly into manufacturing. That led into you know, wanting my own product, wanting a product I didn't have to compete with on the internet, wanting to design our own product with our own specs, that kind of thing.
But you said you bought the shop at 22. There must have been something that got you into knives before that.
Yeah, I grew up on a kiwi orchard, so my grandfather, handed me a pocket knife pretty early, and I had a machete.
Is there a special kiwi knife?
Generally not. No, it's more like a big machete to hack down, a lot of brush. And
Even better.
you're right, at a pretty young age. That's
Mhm.
that's a pretty early start for me, I think. That was a lot of trust in my family and my grandparents, to, here, son, go, not don't lose a finger.
Absolutely. Do you still have your first machete?
I wish, man. I tell you, it's out there somewhere. I need to go out there with a metal detector. I would love that thing.
I'll
You know,
tell you, I have the first two knives I ever owned, and my kid has them now, and it's pretty cool.
that's very cool. Yeah. Do you remember what those models were?
Oh, well, one of them was a little jackknife, they put the little like camping on it that everybody
Okay.
probably started out with that were probably $5, but I thought it was the coolest thing ever. Had
Yeah.
like, two blades and a little screwdriver can opener and a little bottle opener. And
That's so
then,
cool.
yeah, the other one's actually a cool story. I found it in the street, a little tiny single blade, probably about, 2-inch blade with a bone handle. And I found it in the street. And a couple days later, I was at my friend's house, and his older brother said, "Let me see that." And I was afraid he was going to take it away from me. I didn't want to let him. And he said, "That was my knife. I lost it." And I'm like, "Oh, here we go." And he says,
Oh man.
"You know what? It's good. Keep it." So I still
Oh,
have
that's so cool. Are you still in touch with that guy?
it. No, no, I have no idea.
Oh,
The guy.
be cool to show him that you
Fantastic.
still got it.
Where was the kiwi farm?
Prunedale, California, Central California. It's actually on the same property that the MBK shop is on now.
Very
It's,
cool.
it's gone full
Very
circle.
cool.
Yeah,
So you bought the shop, and the shop you sell knives, you sharpen knives?
I do. I sharpen knives, full service shop. I carry Benchmade to Kershaw to ZT to you know CGRB. Everybody you could think of. I mean, it's a small footprint shop, so it has to make sense what product I bring in. I also carry like really high end German cutlery, nail scissors, nail clippers, things that generally don't have planned obsolescence to them, because we live in that world where most everything's garbage and throwaway.
Right,
So,
right.
so I,
Very cool.
yeah.
So at what point did you decide to go into manufacturing, besides just selling knives?
So that
Like you
was
said,
about
you make it your own, but like, what was the impetus?
so that was about 2017, and the market for high end Chinese manufactured pocket knives were really kind of at the advent. I mean, it that's about everything when it started transitioning to getting really good quality, and things were just different. And so at the time, Kaiser had launched Ray Laconico's Gemini model, which
I know it well.
that was everybody. I think everybody in the communities probably had one or at least put one in their hand, and that really took the whole market by storm. That was different. That was a knife, machined out of titanium with S35 VN steel and at a really, really competitive price. Like back in the day when the only thing you could really get like that, not the only thing, but it mostly was Chris Reeves and higher end American production. And so this was different. And so 2017, I was really, Ray and I were pretty tight because he's a California native, and we were at a trade show, and I mentioned to him, hey, may I have an exclusive Gemini for Carmel Cutlery? And he goes, yeah, talk to Kaiser and see if that's a thing. And no one really was really doing that, at the time. That people at that time, now it's pretty commonplace for one of the big vendors to go to a shop and say, hey, I want a special color or
Right.
finish. And I mean, not saying it didn't exist, but it wasn't like it is today. And so I went to Kaiser. I said, hey, I want to change the blade. I want to do this. I want to throw a milled pocket clip on it. Like, I want to change some colors. We did a knife exclusive through Kaiser, through Carmel Cutlery, and the model was called the Ursa Minor. And it was really similar to the Gemini. And that was successful. And rather than doing it again and recreating the wheel again, through Kaiser, because it was a Kaiser product, I went to Ray. I said, why don't we do our own private label? And Ray goes, yeah, I mean, do you think it would fly? And at that time there was a few companies that were doing it. There was, Liang Ma was really, really early to, Chinese OEM doing his designs and stuff. And there's other couple names that come to mind, but I don't want to be incorrect, but there was a few guys out there that were, doing this work, but it wasn't really a commonplace or how it is today. Today the pathway is a little more simple and available, but at the time it was kind of you got to really, really convince these guys, hey, do you want to do some OEM work? And so anyways, we did some OEM work with Kaiser. We did some OEM work with a couple smaller factories that still don't have a name. They just do parts and stuff. And so we did that instead of doing the Kaiser Gemini exclusive yada 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 for the shop. We said, hey, let's do this thing, and we'll call it, I don't know, Monterey Bay Knives. Let's try that,
Mm-hmm.
And it clicked and it worked, and for some reason it stuck.
Just to interject for our viewers' benefit, Chinese unfortunately has a lot of negative connotations, especially in the knife world, because for years, a lot of the cheap gas station knockoffs and stuff were Chinese knives. And to your point, I don't know, 10, 20 years ago, when places like Kaiser, really took the bull by the horns, and there's a bunch of other ones today that do fantastic work. Their quality is on par, if not better, than a lot of the American stuff. I mean, I would really hold them up against that. And you said something about the name at first. I told you I was gonna showcase your logo over here. You just
Nice.
your logo is sick. It's really unbelievable.
Thank you.
It's just it's like an icon in the business, and a lot of places that are showcasing their own products, don't put time into this. And it really just the first knife I got, I'm like, wow, that's wicked cool.
That's
So,
cool. Thank you.
besides the knives themselves, which we'll get to in a couple minutes, I want to take my hat off to you for really thinking about branding, because I think you did a great job that way.
Thank you. yeah, put a lot of thought, tried to put a lot of thought into it, and things have to have a cool factor, and things have to be handsome and fun, you know.
And besides the quality factor in China, doing that meant you were able to keep your prices competitive with other people in the market. And I know you have a very high quality product here. Like I said, we'll be showing the customers some eye candy soon. But you know, probably for a small guy making things on small scale, you wouldn't have been able to be competitive otherwise.
No, definitely not. And we've really always tried being very competitive by eliminating a wholesale market. We don't use vendors. There's no meat on the bone for vendors.
Right.
You know, I have a retail background, and I understand my customer base, and I understand what I want as a customer. And that's the best product for the best price you can do. So that's how we've always been able to offer. Like I see on your background there, I see that fixed blade that we did, the Field Trekker, and
Oh yeah, I'm going to pull it out. We can
yeah,
talk about it right now. We'll see how
sure,
the video works out. First of all, besides the knife itself, I have to say your leather work on here. I don't know how you got to do this.
yeah,
I don't think I've seen anything better. It's like absolutely gorgeous.
yeah,
It
yeah.
looks like
That's
it's almost synthetic because it's so perfectly, you know,
right.
sewn and it's fantastic. You want to tell us about that?
Yeah, so this was a passion project. I wish I had a bigger fixed blade market because I would love to do more fixed blades. Right now, we're currently working on. Actually, I don't think I've ever announced this, but yeah, we're right now.
Fantastic. Announce it here.
Yeah, well, I mean, I wish I had a prototype on me. So in the past, I've worked with Peter Carey on a couple of designs through MBK, and right now we're prototyping a small EDC fixed blade, which will fall into this family here, like of the Field Trekker. So that's gonna be fun. I wish I had more of a bigger market for fixed blades, but you know, I'm getting into it. But as for the Field Trekker, yeah, I think that's an extreme value for what it is. I think it was $200 retail, and I would argue that's almost a $200 sheath. You know, that's it's
I think I would agree with you. I mean, just to show everybody the knife, um, it's like flawless. I mean, it's
right.
perfectly executed. The handle fits to there's no proud metal here.
Mhm.
Just looks like it was all melded out of one piece. The
Right.
blade, beautiful shape, perfection, and it really does not feel as big as it is. This is how many inch blade is this? A 4 inch blade?
I think so. Like a 4 1/4. I wish I had one in hand. I've
Right, it
figured
carries
dimensions.
much smaller. I mean, it's
Right.
really
Yeah,
really amazing.
it's a camp knife, you know, and I think that's like a testament to like I think the quality and the price structure that we want to always uphold for MBK, and I think that's a strong value, and you
Yeah,
know
I
I
would
want
compare it to something like from Bark River, like the you
right.
know, EXT1, but I
Mhm.
mean dollars and cents, I mean, there's no comparison. You know, they also make a nice
Right.
knife. You know, I'm very happy with Bark River. We have a good
Sure do.
relationship with them, but you know, you're paying $150 more for this knife, and you're not really getting, you know, anything that you're not getting with this knife, you know, unless you like a handle or handle shape or color, something like that.
Sure.
It's an extreme value, really is.
Right. Yeah, Bark River makes a fantastic product. I would love to work with them at one point.
And again, you know, talk about the leather. I mean, the comparison, there's no comparison.
Right.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Bark River.
It's tough work. Yeah, I found that leather shop was they made high-end purses, like leather designer stuff, and
Mhm. Can I
I
ask what
think
country they're from?
that was manufactured in China.
That was
Yeah,
also manufactured in China.
it was.
The only
Yeah.
other
Mhm.
work that I've seen similar, actually, and I don't have it in front of me, is steel will knives. They
Mm.
made a fixed knife, and they also had a fantastic sheath, but that was out of Italy. So that's pretty
Interesting.
amazing. This is out of China.
Yeah, I mean, I know there's a stigma for China, and people have their preferences. From what I gather, it's in 2024. It's just kind of lines in the sand in terms of quality. It's you can just get what you pay for. It's it's available. It's there if you do the homework.
Just to go through some, you know, knives quickly, and you know, again, marketing. I have to take my hat off to you. Again, I absolutely love this, but like to the point of where we're talking about Wee versus Civivi or something. You
Hmm.
came out with this knife, and this came in a
Hmm.
cardboard box. It was a much better price point. Different materials, but still the same quality that you're giving from everything else.
Right.
You want to tell us about this knife?
Yeah, the budget line, the G10 old guards, that was a passion.
Yes.
We wanted to get more entry level to our clientele. Actually, it's out of the exact same factory that does our higher end stuff. It's just it was a higher quantity SKU with a lower price margin
Yeah, the
material.
blade centering and everything is perfect on this.
Yep, they get it right. I mean, I can't disclose the OEM shop to that only because it wouldn't make sense even if I told you the name because they don't have an Americanized presence. But in comparison, I did a project with Kaiser that was a 500 piece SKU, and I quality controlled every single knife, all 500 units, and
Wow,
there
wow.
and there were two of them in there that needed pocket clip adjustments. I mean, the
Wow.
QC, I wasted my time like QCing this product.
That's unbelievable.
It's impressive.
Something else you also do for the end user, which is amazing, is you always stick extra clips and screws in there.
Mm,
I mean, I can't tell you chasing companies, even good companies with
right.
good knives, things loosen up after a while. How
Sure.
you came up with just putting these in each thing? I mean, anybody I speak to, it tickles them.
Well, okay. This is out of laziness. Okay. Now I mean this sincerely. Hear me out with this one. Okay. This is my train of thought. Okay. Um, so for the small amount of money that cost me to include those packets into each knife is so much. It's so worth the time not chasing down a screw or categorizing inventory and labeling things just so I could ship something to a customer that costs, I don't know what's a screw, 4 cents or 8 cents.
Right.
I'd rather spend the money up front, include it in with the product, every single unit. And it's just, I wanted customers to feel that they can maintain their own knives because I know my customer base isn't stupid, and I think they're clever enough that they're gonna keep, maintain their own product. But surely it was just I did not want to be chasing down screws and missing a customer's email or something like that. So like just include it, and I really hope it becomes the industry standard at point. And if there's anything in this industry
So
that
do
I want,
I.
yeah, if there's anything I would want to be known for in this industry, it was that like I set a standard for at least hardware, packets. Like that's such a cool idea.
Excuse me, standard is one thing, but value is another. And I love the idea that you, being a small business owner, came up with a solution to a problem, which I agree. You'd be sending people screws or pocket clips. You're putting it in. It's making the customer happy, and it's solving a problem for you.
Yeah, well, in truth, I wasn't the first person to do this. I had a conversation with the owner of Custom Knife Factory early on in Custom Knife Factory's career. In fact, I helped present their product at the USN show when they couldn't get a booth under Carmel Cutlery, and
Oh,
and
wow.
the owner was really grateful. And he asked me while he was there, while he's visiting from Russia, and he goes, "Hey, would you mind being like the service guy for like our hardware?" I said, "Yeah, I can do that, but why don't you just include these, I don't know, like a hardware packet?" I'm just trying to figure it out in my head. And he's like, "Yeah, like that solves all the problems." So
For
like,
somebody out of the country, it's probably even more important
oh
than
man,
something.
could you imagine shipping, 3 screws from Russia? Like makes zero sense.
Well, that's the problem. One of the Chinese manufacturers, who, again, I hold in I'll tell you who it was. It was we. I hold them in very high esteem. Fantastic. It's actually one of my favorite knives is actually a Laconico design, called the Esprit, I believe. And,
Hmm.
I needed an extra clip on it. And they were fantastic and stuff, but just the time and, time and effort it took to get the stuff back to me. For you, I'd go downstairs to my workshop. I'd pop out one of the things you sent me, pop it back in, and I'm back in business. It's absolutely
Hmm.
amazing.
Right. Yeah, that's what I was hoping for. I hope it becomes, like I said, I hope it becomes a standard for, I don't know, a batch of let's say it's a batch of 500 units. We're probably talking 600 bucks or something, or 700
Wow.
bucks in hardware. I think it's,
Wow.
if I had to chase down knives and ship things and help people, it would cost me that anyway.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You get to one of my favorite knives here,
Mm.
the Rosalinda, which I see. Do we want to talk about your sale right now, or?
Yeah, I mean, it's a brief mention. It's only going to last until Friday, but right now it's fourth quarter. Everybody's trying to shop for holidays and people and stuff. So right now I've got a pretty good size sale on my website for Black Friday, and the Rosalinda's on there, and I think it's pretty reasonable. I think
The
200 bucks or something.
Rosalinda is an exceedingly good value to, tell our viewers who don't really know. This is in a steel that you don't see much out there, ZDP 189, I believe.
Uh-huh.
And it's a laminated steel, actually. You can see the lamination line on it. It's extremely hard, holds an edge an extremely long time. And the lines on this are just gorgeous. I
Yeah.
mean, the edge, the swedge, I mean, titanium, for the
Hmm.
price that you're asking for now, it would be double or more from another manufacturer, really.
Yeah.
But
Right.
again, to your build quality, I mean, nothing moves.
No.
Blades are perfectly centered. Your action's almost too easy. Like
Mm.
your actions are so buttery. They're actually unique, I think, to your brand. They're very buttery easy. Like
Yeah.
you don't feel the detent, but it's not slipping out of place. You know what I
Hmm.
mean?
Right. Yeah.
Pretty cool.
It's hard to um get
My
exactly
favorite
the
color, by
action.
the way.
Oh yeah, that lime green. I'm about it. It's hard to get the perfect action for I guess the customer when everybody's taste is different. I want a stronger detent. I want a lighter detent.
Hmm.
So we do what we want to do. I think that knife felt appropriate, and that was a handsome knife with a good action. And I think you're right. I think that's a very strong value on the market, especially with that ZDP. I'm sure gonna miss it when it's gone.
Oh, was it
Uh,
hard to get?
it's incredibly expensive, and it's getting so much more expensive that after this last batch that I purchased, the price
Mhm.
has literally doubled for the price of steel.
Oh, wow.
And the steel is already about twice the price as Magna Cut. So to now be four times the price of Magna Cut, it's becoming financially irresponsible to continue it. So when I'm done, I think I have maybe 400 or 600 blades left that I could do in ZDP, and then I think I have to walk away from it. It is my favorite steel for sure.
I hope our viewers are paying attention here because if you want to get on it, you can get it at a fantastic reduced price, and the quality is unbelievable. And you won't have to sharpen it for a very long time. I do find that those sometimes could be a little chippy because it's so hard. So you got to be careful around staples and things like that. But
I
other than
would think
that,
so.
for opening boxes and things, it's amazing. Slicing
Yeah,
cardboard, wow.
yeah, yeah. It's yeah, Rockwell about ours is average is about 67.
67?
The
Wow.
last test was 67.5. It's way up there.
I can't think of anybody else on an EDC who's running anything that hard right now.
Rockstead does in their ZDP.
Rocks that, yeah, if you want to spend $2,000 for a knife.
Right. And that was actually my love for ZDP came from in fact my love for a lot of knives come from Almar, and I was a
Almar's
kid.
fantastic.
Yeah, I was a kid when this stuff came out. Higher end pocket knives. Almar. If you wanted a really high end pocket knife, you got a Japanese Kershaw or you got an Almar. Mostly Japanese manufactured stuff, and that was kind of the advent of AUS 8, VG10. I remember when
Sure.
VG10 hit the market, it blew everybody's mind.
I
And,
remember.
and then one day I got my hands on a ZDP 189 Almar. I think the model was a Falcon or something like that. And like I couldn't. It was either an Almar or it was a Cold Steel. Like hats off to both those companies because that's where I
Yeah,
came from.
fantastic. I'm trying to remember if Cole did Steel, what they had on ZDP. I can't remember right now.
They did a couple of models, but they didn't call it ZDP 189. He that was actually that was Lynn Thompson's when he coined the term San Mai. I think that was I don't know if he coined
Oh,
that term
I
or
thought he was
just like
using
patented.
VG1. I didn't realize he was using that.
I
That's
think I
amazing.
think he's used a lot of interesting things like Carbon V, I think, was Nitro V. He liked to rename his stuff, you know.
Yeah, he was a great marketing guru.
Mm. Yeah, Lynn
Now,
Thompson, that's my idol, man. I admire him.
shout out to Lynn.
Yeah.
By the way, not that everybody should go on a feeding frenzy, but for our viewers, I do have the ZDP knife. Maybe you want to buy it on the website right now. I have a stretch 2. It's with the original humpback in it, and it's in the ZDP.
How cool.
So it is pretty rare to find, and it is on the site right now. Something that you did that I like that you marketed 2 things to a regular. I mean, not that anything you do is regular, but you know, we're still talking about titanium. But you made is it the same knife with 2 different handle materials.
Yeah, that's our flagship. One of our flagship designs. That the old guard will go through many iterations as it already has, and I think we'll continue designing that knife in different styles for a long time.
The blade shape is absolutely fantastic. It's a great user knife. Again, you have that buttery action. I don't know how you do it. Unique to your manufacturing. And the polishing is fantastic. And I love the way that you put the names and the names of the steel, you know, on the edges of the blade, on the periphery, you know, instead of like messing up the whole blade. You have a very clean blade.
Yeah, I don't know how many other companies do this who put their maker's mark on the clip side of the blade. Maybe it might become a little bit more commonplace now, but the
only ones I can think of right now are and they do it sometimes. And in fixed blades, Adventure Sworn actually does it, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I didn't want any branding on my knives. You know, I knew the idea was we live in an Instagram world, and everybody wants to, you know, post their pictures and not have billboarding all over their knives. And a lot of customers have told me they appreciate not having that that branding smeared all over the place.
Well, that's one thing that Lynn Thompson did do well.
He sure did.
Your point, you do have your little emblem there. You know whose it is. But besides that, it's just clean, which is fantastic.
Right. Yeah.
Now, I notice a lot of these are collaborations. The last knife I have from you is a real cutie. I wasn't sure what I was going to do with it at first, but it's just so cute. I had to keep it. I believe you call it your watch pocket knife.
Yeah, I love that.
And you did it in a crazy steel. This is an S90, isn't it?
Yeah, sure is.
So where did this come from? Because I got it, I have to keep it.
I love small pocket knives. Like, let's be real. Like, how many times are your knives used to just, you know, get through something, you know, just a box or,
size comparison,
right. Yeah. Like, I mean, I don't always need a monster knife, you know. That was just something for fun. It's actually kind of similar in style and shape to the Sea Otter. It's basically a baby Sea Otter, that we imported. It was just for fun. Like, I mean, sometimes things just need to be cool and different. Like, here's a new design that I'm prototyping. So this is, you know, it's very small. Again, kind of
looks a little bit Almar-ish.
It's like it's an homage to Almar. You know, I'm all about that, you know, and I like small knives, you know. So that the watch pocket knife was kind of an entry to like the micro stuff. I sure like that.
That's another thing that worked out for me actually about your knives. My sweet spot for my EDC is 3 1/4 inches. And a lot of people are going to 3 or they're going to 3 1/2. And in my jean knives, you know, my jeans, I carry a bigger knife. But when I'm carrying slacks, and you just nail these 3 1/4, inch knives. They're like, I like that they're not wasteful. I like they're not super thick. You know, the blade fits into the channel. You're not putting all this extra meat on it, and it just works out great.
Thank you. Yeah, that's our goal. I think that's the sweet spot for an everyday carry.
So part of the reason we have you on here is we wanted to talk about what we're doing, and I want to thank you for your help with that. We really want to get the word out. So our project's called Knife Enthusiast, and it's at knifeenthusiast.com. We've had some international teams actually working on this for more than a year, and it really came out of the need, I think, and the missing part in the industry of having a knife place for knife people, by knife people. None of the politics involved, none of the issues involved with weapons or videos. You can show this, you can't show that. So we made it like a conglomerate of being like an online seller's marketplace for knives, a la eBay. And again, eBay does a great job. I buy a lot of knives there. But I wanted it to be our own. Besides that, we set up articles, videos like this. We want to speak to people in the industry, such as yourself. And thank you. You're actually our inaugural video on that. So I want to thank you for that.
Thank you.
And, besides videos, we're writing articles. We have forums. And we want it to be like kind of a one-stop shop for people to hang out online and, not have to worry about one day, oh, something's going to be censored or something like that. We're all knife people. We're all knife enthusiasts, whether it's an EDC, whether it's armchair people, whether it's actual hunters or camping people. And we want it to be a place where people can talk about it, trade stuff, learn about stuff. Like right now, I don't know if there's as many people that know about you, that know about the national brands, like let's say Benchmade or, Spyderco or something like that. And I want to change that. I want to get that out there because as we've showed your knives, we're showing an exceedingly good value, build quality on par with everybody else. Why shouldn't everybody have a voice? And this is a place we really want to do it.
Yeah, I see that. I think you are hitting the nail on the head. This industry does need a more centralized location for and a safe place to buy and sell knives. And I think you've got a good thing going. I really want to see that site grow and the community, jump on board and it being part of the community. I think we need higher standards for like this kind of transaction. And I think you're going to do it well. I like you said, eBay does a fine job. Reddit is kind of the Wild West. Instagram is hit or miss. Sometimes, you get shadow banned for, wanting to sell something, so I think having a place that people feel comfortable doing it, that's great.
To say even a purchasing platform without getting into all the bloody details, that took us 6 months because people kept kicking us off. What do you mean? You're selling weapons? You're selling knives?
Right.
We don't want you. And that really got me upset and it motivated me even more to do what we're doing. And thank God we have some really good companies that we're working with out there. They're working with us. And in terms of, buyer protection, I'm really putting my money where my mouth is. The buyer protection right now is me. If somebody gets something and they're not happy with it and the seller's not making it right, I'm going to eat that because I don't want to become a website where people are selling all sorts of knockoffs and things. And we've actually had, I put my money where my mouth is there. I've had people, from Pakistan and, England and not bashing any countries in particularly, but, places where, India, where we know that there's a lot of low quality knives coming out of there. And I have no problem selling something, lower quality, just pretty for the right price. But I don't want people knockoffs. And we've told them no. And that could have been a lot of revenue stream for us. And I said to my team, we're just not doing that. We'll wait it out and we'll make sure we get some good manufacturers on there. And while the selling part has been a little bit slower than I like, I'm encouraging everybody to sign up to sell.
Sure.
I know it's work. Even speaking to myself and probably my marketing team isn't going to be happy I'm saying this. I've been buying things on. She's smiling. I've been buying things on eBay probably 15, 20 years. I've never sold anything on eBay.
Okay,
so I think I'm indicative of the people that I probably have a couple hundred knives and I've never done that. So we set up this website to be very easy for people like me. It probably takes about 3 minutes to put a knife up on.
Nice.
And I can't speak to other websites because again, I haven't done it. But we really tried to streamline the process. I told the people designing it, listen, they're not going to do it if it takes too much time.
Yeah,
We
right.
really made it very easy. And we have a couple other manufacturers that are on there as well, good American manufacturers. And, we're proud to be building it slowly, but the right way.
Right. Yeah, I think that's most of it is how many people, I know a lot of people who want to move or trade or do whatever. And yeah, sometimes it's intimidating to go out there and, especially things like Reddit or, eBay or whatever. It's, it can be daunting for some people if it's not easy.
Yeah, I've gotten burned. And again, eBay, I have to say they do a good job about backing it up. They don't know knives. They're really just, unfortunately for the sellers, they're really on the buyer's side. You complain and they take care of it. But,
Right.
I don't want to have that problem. So
Right.
every email that gets sent to the website goes to me for review. I'm seeing what's going on. And again, I stand behind it. If anybody has a problem, we're going to make it right because we want this to be a great place for everybody to come.
That's awesome. I admire that. I know how much work that takes.
Is there anything that you have there that you'd like to show the audience, or
Yeah.
you'd like to talk about that's coming down the pipe?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so I'll go back to what I showed before. I don't have a name for this, but this is in the prototype right now. I've just got a couple prototypes on hand. But working on.
Tell us what steel it's going to be in.
Say again. I'm sorry.
Can you tell us which steel you're going to use?
This will be S90. I think that's going to be the transition right now from the ZDP. I think I'll be doing a lot of S90 from here.
S90 is fantastic stuff.
See, people seem to really like it. The next the SZDP 189 is going to be my Ex Machina. This is my design. This will be coming out either late this year or early next year. So this will be, that's kind of fun. I've been branching out and doing a lot more of my designs, opposed to just Ray doing the designs or he and I collaborating. So I'm trying to put my spin out there.
Well, I would encourage you greatly to do something, a variation on the fixed blade you already did. Like I said, the blade shape you nailed, the thickness, everything's fantastic. I would love, as we discussed, before we talked today, a thicker handle. And again, I got very medium claws, so I'm biased. But people with small hands can hold a bigger blade knife, but bigger handle knife. But people with smaller, bigger hands can't be comfortable with a smaller handle knife. But I mean, just absolutely fantastic. Again, just to show the design, it's really an unbelievable knife. I have used it not much because I don't want to scratch it up because it's too pretty.
Sure.
If you get another one, I promise to beat on it for you and give you some reviews on it.
We'll revisit it. That has been reviewed a few times about the handle thickness, so that will be updated. California legal OTF. I've never showed anybody this.
Oh wow.
Just for fun. It'll come in different colors. Everybody loves little OTFs.
California legal, if I'm not mistaken, it has to be under a certain size.
Yeah, it's under 2 inches. Again, it's like falls into the category of those smaller knives and such.
That's very cool.
I think that'll be fun. Maybe one day we'll do a full size. Who knows? I have no idea what we're doing. I need to figure out the schedule. Other than that, I carry a first gen old guard. I guess a testament of these knives holding up. I've been carrying this since 2018, and it's a Frankenstein. It's built out of parts from all other 5 or 6 different models, and but man, it's my daily driver.
That's a great handle on it.
It's a fun one. And then the only thing else I really have on my table, I'm a big Cold Steel fan. Here's a smaller fixed blade, and this has been on my desk for a while. It's I think the Pendleton or the Mini Pendleton by Cold Steel.
Yeah.
And I really like this design, and I think this is like a perfect EDC like for fixed blades. So we will be doing something like this, I'm sure, in the future. I'm sure I'll get some inspiration from this and do a handsome version of my homage to that.
I'm glad you're bringing up the Cold Steel lot, because again, they have been a favorite for me. My exercise knife when I'm running around outside actually is the old school Voyager before they went to like the rakish handles. I mean, it's thin. It's pound for pound, probably one of the best big knives you can get in a small package. But that being said, my next article is going to be on collectible knives. And I actually have a few nice eye candy old Cold Steels in there, so please look out for that.
Oh, I definitely will. That's my whole thing. I try to keep what's update on the market. What's new and fresh and all the cool new things and designs. But man, I tell you, I keep going back to like 2002, 2004 era, things. And
minimalist.
I love that stuff, and I hope that'd be nice. It'd be nice to see some of that stuff on your website. That'd be,
Well, like I said, I think you kind of do that and execute that with your EDCs. And I just want to thank you again for your time. And, hopefully people enjoy what we're doing out here.
I hope so. I'm going to spread the word, and if I could pop on some inventory on your platform, I'm going to do it. And
Thanks, Sandy. We really appreciate that. And let us
really like
know,
that.
please, user feedback is the most important thing. We're always tweaking. Again,
Yeah,
it's a one-person company. I own the company.
yeah,
I have a silent partner, but we're not stuck on anything. We want it
right.
to go in the direction that everybody wants it to go in. So as the more feedback we get, the more we'll tweak.